So we are flat out scooting today. I'm running 4.5 miles an hour, 30 foot wide, and we're cutting right next to the farm. So the cart's just running back and forth, dumping onto the semi. Got the semi just cracked open and the swing away auger running. I'm cutting beans so fast right now that we're keeping the swing away running the entire time, just running the tractor idle down and dumping beans into it. So hopefully we don't break any shear bolts and make a mess, but we're flying through this bean field. It's 99 acres, and I bet I've knocked out 20 just in the past little over an hour. So we're scooting right along today. Hopefully we'll knock this field out by about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Well, we had a minor issue. He went in to dump the first cart and broke the shear bolt off the swing away auger, which wasn't really his fault, but that's about the 5th one I've broke this year. So we're dumping beans. Got them nice and clean too, as you can see. Very little trash in them, but they're also extremely dry, so it's pretty easy to get them clean now. Well, we've made it that far from that edge, and we've got all the way down to those trees to go. So pretty big field, all the way to the grain bins, the farm over there, up to the highway. So quite a bit to go in this 99 acres, but I bet we knock it out pretty quick. Cruising along right about 5 miles an hour, just about, and it's eating them. Running in about 65, 66 bushel beans right now. They jump into 70 every now and then, but the field average is about 60. So for this field, not too bad. This field's kind of been beaned to death the last few years. It hadn't had corn in a few years, so you could definitely use it. We'll probably be in corn next year, but beans are rolling in there. So we'll get her knocked out pretty quick today, I'd say. Now this is how you cover a lot of acres in a day. You don't stop to dump once. He's going about 20 miles an hour across the field, but that's what it takes for him to keep up right now. So like a good combine driver, I'm hollering and yelling, "Where you at? Where you at? I'm almost full. Where you at?" Oh, we're dumping. Just about perfect timing. We are full, so roll in and get another cart load. Okay, well, we were making really good progress, and then I broke the knife. I broke the bar that was in the knife. Luckily, I already totaled out one bean head this year, so I had a 30-foot knife. So I beat and beat and beat on the thing and finally got tired of it, and I had it out just enough that I could wrap a chain around it. So I wrapped the chain to the Polaris and just drug the thing out that way, and did the same with the old knife on both heads. Just pulled them out with a chain, drove this new knife back in, or new used knife if you want to call it that, and now we're getting ready to cut beans again. So we're all fixed and I've got a knife again, so life's good. Now we're getting something done. Dumping on the go. Down to probably, I don't know, 20 acres left out here. So we're rolling on now. Cutting about 5 miles an hour, dumping on the go. Combine's got plenty of horsepower. 60 bushel beans. Life's good. Life's cutting good. Just really dusty out here. I don't know if you guys can see how much the wind's picked up or not, but this dust is just flying today, and we're really dry. We did get like 2/10 of rain a few days ago. It got me out of the field, it got me out of the beans for a little bit, but we're back to completely bone dry again. I mean, we could get 2 inches of rain and it still wouldn't necessarily be muddy. We're really, really, really dry right now, and it kind of worries me because if the combine would have a bearing go out or a spark or something, just as dusty as it is right now, things would burn up pretty dang quickly. And I've got a fire extinguisher up here, and I've got another one on the back and one in the middle of the combine as well. 2 of them are water fire extinguishers, and you can recharge them as many times as you want. They're kind of fun to shoot off actually, but I keep them full on the combine, and then I've got another dry chemical one on the back for oil fires, hydraulic oil, engine oil, stuff like that. So if I would ever have something catch on fire there, water's just going to spread it. So I like this combine enough. I don't want it to burn, but I tell you what, when the weather's like this and it's this dry, it wouldn't take much. I blow it off every day, sometimes twice a day, especially days like today where it's really bad. But I don't know if you guys can see how fast that wind's throwing this dust around, but what little moisture we got, it's pretty much gone already. Looks like the neighbor beat me done with his field today. He's headed back home, beanhead behind him. He's got a, I think it's a 9610. I don't think it's a 9600. I think it's a 9610, but it is a sharp machine. He runs all, you know, not old, but older John Deere equipment, but everything he's got is absolutely immaculate. I always like seeing his stuff go up and down the road. He's got some newer stuff, got a newer planter, a couple newer four-wheel drive tractors, but I really enjoy seeing his equipment. I really don't care what brand equipment is. I've just got a respect for people that keep their equipment really well kept. I try my best to, but when you're cutting beans that are this dirty and dusty, stuff doesn't stay very clean very long. But I'll definitely have this combine washed up and polished up as soon as harvest is over before I tuck it in the shed. So you can see we're getting pretty close to the trees now. He's dumping the cart, and you can see he's just dumping right into the semi. Semi's dumping into the auger, into the bin, but I don't think that bin's going to hold much more. Unfortunately, I think it's back to the elevator tomorrow because the rest of this field isn't worth putting in another bin. So probably that will have all 4 of those bins there filled. 2 of them with corn, 2 of them with beans. One of them's not completely full of corn yet, but it will be. Got about 15 acres down the road yet that should top that bin off. So I'll probably haul a load off to the elevator first thing in the morning, which isn't a huge deal. Rather not, but just from a time perspective. But might just call it an early night, go ahead and get the combine ready tonight and haul beans first thing in the morning and get moved to the field maybe at night, and hopefully then be able to get started cutting some beans tomorrow morning. I'm planning to move to my seed beans tomorrow morning and get quite a few of them knocked out. Got roughly 140 acres of those that I think are ready. So definitely want to get on them before they get too dry. Seed beans are pretty picky. They want them at a certain moisture, no more, no less. So I got to get them when they're right. And with the wind we're having today, I'm almost afraid that they're going to get too dry. So definitely going to get after them tomorrow, and hopefully we don't have any breakdowns and I can scoot through some of those seed beans as well. I've cut about 80 acres so far today, which for having to take the knife out and replace it's not too bad. It's only about 5 o'clock now, so we'll definitely knock this field out yet tonight. Just about got this one wrapped up. He turned his lights on before me, so I win that game tonight. It is a beautiful, beautiful evening. Life is good out here. Chugging right along. 70 bushel beans. They're getting pretty good on this end of the field. Right next to the farm. Just a beautiful evening. Fueling. It takes a minute to fill this beast up. Those are 20 gallon a minute pumps, but some days it still takes over 5 minutes to get full. Well, the last load of that field did not fit in the grain bin, and it barely fit on the semi, so I'm not going to tell you what this one weighed, but we're down here at Newburgh dumping a load. I cut the end rows off a bean field this morning, and I got moved out to the state ground, so I'm going to start cutting beans out there today as soon as I get back. Okay, the semi is back, combine's ready, and it is seed bean time. Now you can see there is not a weed out in these. Kept them nice and clean all year. These are Enlist soybeans for Pioneer, and they've been much, much cleaner than my dicamba beans all year long. So as long as they yield with what the dicambas do, Enlist is absolutely the route I'm going to take next year. Even though dicamba has been approved now, it's not worth fighting the weeds if they yield the same. So we'll see. I've only cut the end rows. I don't really know what they're going to make yet, but let's get in them. Well, so far these beans are making about 10 bushel under what my dicambas are. Now that's not to say all of them will. I'm literally cutting one little bitty, I don't even know if this is a 10-acre field. So I mean, I can't really judge all Enlist beans based on this one little 10-acre field. But so far, they're not making near as good. They're not bad. I mean, it's still a respectable yield. But when you've been cutting 70, 80 bushel beans, you're kind of spoiled too. So far, they're not doing near that well. But they're not doing bad either. And with the seed bean premium I'm getting on them, still makes money for sure. I mean, I'm definitely not losing any money on them, that's for sure, but I don't know, they could be a little better, I guess. Well, I've definitely got them cleaned up to seed bean quality. There's very, very little trash in those, so happy with that, which is good. Hopefully Pioneer's happy with that too. I got them cleaned up best I could. They're definitely plenty dry. I'm glad I'm getting after these. I was kind of worried about them being too dry. I don't think they're quite too dry, but they're definitely dry enough. Running right around 10 or 11%, so I'm all right with that. I'd like them to be like a percent or two higher, but I'll take it. So yeah, I shouldn't have to run the fan on these hardly at all. I'm gonna run it just enough to kick the dust out of them, and while I'm dumping, I'd probably shut it off as soon as I'm done dumping until I get the bin full. And just kind of weary of putting too much air on these. As dry as they are, I don't want to get them too dry. Alright, well, I got those two little fields done. Dropped the head on the head cart, and we're on our way to the next field. There was only about, I don't know, maybe 15 acres at best in that last little field, so those last couple fields, so semi's not quite full, it's close. Actually, I lied. I cut 13 acres, so not quite full, but close to it, so I'll probably go ahead and take it and dump it. I don't think I could get another full hopper on it, so it's really not worth moving it to another field. So headed to the next field. And we are ready to move again. Sucks farming by yourself. It really does. Pretty sure we're locked. Yep, we're locked. Okay. It sucks farming by yourself, but wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for moving all the time. But when you're farming by yourself and you're farming a bunch of 10-acre fields, scattered out over across half the county. That's the part that sucks, because you're just constantly having to move. It kills me on time. Now this is where having a draper head would shine. These things are testing 10%. They're popping out of the pods, but they've got fungicide on them. You can see how much green is still out here in the field. And they look like they're extremely wet, but when you look in the hopper, they're nice and dry. They're flattening out. I mean, not a problem. I will say though, these beans, they're putting that last field to shame. Now, since this is rental ground, I'm not going to start naming off names and naming off what they're making, but they're doing pretty good. So, pretty happy with these, especially given that they're seed beans, and I'm going to get a nice premium on top of them. Definitely making money off of this field. There's no doubt about that. Well, there it is. It's the maiden load on the first load for that grain truck, as long as it's been here. So hopefully it dumps it. All right, well, I screwed up. I may or may not have dumped some beans. I got that truck a little bit too full. I didn't realize I was throwing beans over the side, so whoops. Well, the cart driver drew the better end of the stick. He gets to drive semi home. So I get to drive the grain truck with no dash lights, and well, we're gonna hope to keep her between the ditches. We're not going far. You guys know how these old farm trucks are. Well, I would say that we got everything pretty full. So, time to get it all dumped now. And we're dumping. Filling the first seed bin. Got it running out good. Dumping good. Life's good. Just about empty, I believe. Truck number 1's just about dumped. Truck number 2's on standby. We're gonna fill this bin really quickly. Well, I'm gonna have to put some chains or across or something. Put some chains across the bed or something, because the back gate on that truck started to split. I had it way too full and the sides were pulling apart. So we're gonna chain that. That way we don't do that again. We didn't lose any beans. It did it when I started tipping it back. We noticed it was starting to pull apart. So luckily we were getting it empty. That's a pretty quick fix. I mean, we can shove the sides together, put the backhoe bucket up against it or something and weld it, and then get some chains in there to keep them from pulling apart again. So shouldn't be too bad of a job. Luckily we caught it before the thing blew apart going down the road and lost 550 bushel of beans. Truck numero dos, going in the bin. For 6,000 bushel bin, we're filling half this bin with the little bit we just dumped. We had a semi in it earlier, so it's gonna be about half full with what we're dumping right now. Moving everything home. Gonna dump the head cart off up here. Keep going. Whoa. See you at home. But got everything. Got an issue with the new grain truck though. It is not wanting to let the bed down, which is a problem. Now I'm not gonna lie, I drove the thing home with the bed halfway up. That was not safe, and I'm well aware of it. I just took it nice and slow and didn't go through any corners too fast. So we're headed home. Fueling and greasing. Getting ready to go today. Hopefully knock out the rest of the beans out here today. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fields left out here. So if we can do 8 fields today, I'll be happy. I don't think any of them are much over 10 acres though, so it sounds like more than what it really is. It's just gonna be a lot of moving today. I'm definitely getting ahead of myself a little bit this morning. They're still a little bit tough. Running the reel way faster than I'd like to be, but it's about the only way I can get them to feed in right. Still pretty chewy. Got about a full hopper. A few green ones along the edge, but not too bad out here. So gonna hopefully make it back to the end of the field, but I don't think that I'm going to. The combine is not liking that they're a little bit tough this morning. Well, that's full. So we're gonna walk to the pickup so we can drive to the grain cart and swap the grain cart with, yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to find something to dump on. Okay, that's better. Got something to dump on now. There's another hopper. Got them nice and clean in there. Should fill the cart. I think the semi is on its way, and then he's gonna drive my pickup here to come get the cart, I think. I'm not sure what's going on. I do know that this is probably gonna fill the cart. Hopefully I can get the rest of the field on the combine before, and he'll get here before I finish the field. Hopefully. So, moving right along. Cut about 15 acres this morning already. Not bad for 1 o'clock. Got them all to fit on the combine. Guy's not here with the to take the cart yet, so not a big deal. We'll just take it ourselves. Seeing a lot of beans on the ground though. I don't like that. It's a little rough getting out of here, but definitely thankful to have a grain cart right now, because without one it would be a little tricky getting all the crop out of this place. Lots of paths and off the beaten path roads to get to a lot of these fields through here, so definitely thankful for a grain cart. I think the semi would probably get back here, but it would definitely struggle in several areas. Dumping. My help is here. He's gonna run ahead of me and go block the road off. We're going like a quarter mile if that. I just want to be on the safe side and make sure I don't meet anybody 30 foot wide. So he's gonna go block the road. I'm gonna follow shortly behind him. Nothing to see here. Nothing at all. Nice wide road. This is saving me 15 minutes taking the head off, putting it right back on. I don't have him completely full, but I don't think the rest of this field would have fit in the cart, so have him go ahead and dump while I finish this field. He can come back, grab what's left of it, and I guess we'll move fields again. We're knocking them out pretty quick. That's a wrap on this field. Last little pass here, 6 miles an hour. Just about got a hopper in there. Wait on him to get back and head back down the road. On to the next one. We're out of here. We're going again. Unfortunately, it took like an hour to get that semi unloaded because I broke a shear bolt on the swing away auger, which normally is not a big deal, but the thing was stuck in there and I couldn't get it out. Ended up taking the entire PTO off, took it back to the shop, put it in a vise, tried a punch, tried everything, ended up just drilling the stupid thing out. So an hour later, we're back in the field, got the semi dumped, and we're back rolling again. So that just cost me a stupid hour of good cutting time. So there went another 15 acres I would have got done today, but it is what it is. we're going again, so life's good. Well, the good news is we finished that last field and almost got this one opened up. The bad news is that pile of beans right there just came out of the back end of the combine and it's plugged up tight. I don't know if you guys have any input or not, but every now and then I get a big old wad of crap that will get through the beater, but not, it'll sit on top of the sieves and not make it down the hole to the spreader. Well, what it does is it backs up from the spreader to the beater to the rotor, and next thing you know, the entire back end of the combine's plugged up. This is the second time it's happened this year, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. It sucks, but I really don't know what to do about it. You'll just have a wad of stuff, and it passes through the combine, doesn't pull the combine down or anything, and that's the thing. It's not like you're really running too much through it. I mean, yeah, you could slow down, but honestly, I think it still happened. You just get a wad of stuff that gets into the spreader and doesn't drop down and pass through it, and it just chokes the combine up from the back forward. So I'm not real sure what to do about it, but I'm gonna get a pry bar and a Sawzall and start getting this thing unplugged. I don't know if you can tell or not, but right about where he's at right now, backing that cart out, is about where the combine stopped throwing stuff out the back. And I made it, you know, probably, I don't know, 50 yards, and just choked it up tight. If you look up in here, I don't know how well you can see it or not, but that beater's just packed full. It's not plugged as bad as it was last time, but it's still not good, so we're gonna give her a go with hand tools, but I may end up going back and getting a Sawzall. It seemed to make life easy. Okay, well, I just now got home. We did get the combine unplugged tonight. It was not a fun job, but it's done. So hopefully all goes well. We'll be rolling tomorrow. But that thing was a mess. Second time I've done it. Not real sure why it's doing it. It doesn't pull the rotor down. It doesn't pull the beater down. It doesn't even pull the spreader down. It just catches between the spreader and the beater right over top of the sieves. Won't let stuff out, and then it just packs and packs and packs and packs until it eventually gets up to that beater, and then it just starts wrapping it, and it plugs the whole back into the combine. Now, it didn't plug the rotor this time. Last time it did. It plugged the very back of the rotor. Wasn't as bad to get unplugged this time, but I don't know how to fix that. When I got out of the combine, the spreader was still turning. Everything was turning except the beater. The rotor was still turning. Everything was turning. So I'm not real sure why it's doing what it's doing. But in the light of day tomorrow, I'm going to take a better look at it, try and figure out what's causing it. But other than that, hopefully we're rolling again tomorrow.